So I thought it would be neat to share a few like real life stories with you that don't come in any particular bracket really, but they are all like part of my life across the pond and back, of course. So here we go. So the first one I'd like to share with you today is, let me just keep drinking my herbal tea, is when I first got married to my American hubby. He had a job in Pascagoula, Mississippi. So anyone from that area of the world will know that my imitation of that American accent is absolutely pathetic, but that's my best. And my mum, actually, she used to absolutely be so tickled and fascinated when, especially me living over there. She'd never had a daughter living in America. Of course, she didn't think of planning it that way. So anyway, Pascagoula, and Pascagoula, if you care to look it up, is like a little small town America, I think. Well, it was when we were there. Well, that's the part of it that we were in. And at the time, I didn't think it was small particularly. It was just like normal for me coming from England. I remember this story is quite early on in my journey as an expat there, so I was pretty naive to a lot of things, American things. So at this point we had just got married, and I was pregnant with our daughter. So he was at work. Of course it was hot, can't remember what month it was now, and so we were renting this house. It wasn't worth settling down in this area. We weren't planning on staying there. He was just working. And so I wanted to take myself out for a walk. So off I went, and I was showing. I think I was around 5 months, but I was showing. I wasn't heavily pregnant though, but I was used to walking. It's just something that we English people do. Especially to go to the shops, you know, there's nothing wrong with it, or it's just completely different here. And so of course this is part of the American culture that I didn't realize or know about, and it's not even the sort of thing I'd say you pick up in movies really. Maybe nowadays because things are just so integrated, you know, but when I was there, this is like years back now, you know. So anyway, I was toddling along, enjoying my walk. Actually, I had gone to this smallish kind of what they call over there mama and pop's shop. I think mama and pop's. It was like our convenience store or corner store, you know, what we used to call a corner store here in England. And they had a few things. So I just went off down there. I had this hankering because I was pregnant. You know, you get these cravings, don't you? And anyone who's been pregnant will know what I mean. So I'm just going to keep warm here. Make sure I keep warm. So I went to the shop looking for some milk, and I didn't want to buy too much. So I got the kind of size carton that I thought would just be fine, you know. I had some Special K cereal, which I also had a hanking for at home. So I thought, great, this will just be nice. I'll walk home. And I think I bought a few other things as well, but just kind of like a small bag of stuff. I'm telling you all this for a reason. So here I was walking along in small town America. I mean, kind of mediumly busy, not overly busy. Actually, it was pretty quiet, really, considering the road that I live by now is much quieter than that. But I was walking along, and then a car, the first car anyway, kind of pulled up slowly, window coming down, the driver looking out, smiling. It was nothing wrong, don't worry, we don't need a trigger warning. Nothing wrong at all, okay. But I was a bit curious because I was walking, minding my own business, and this guy, very friendly, but he was like leaning across, you know, like they do, like, hey. And I remember early days for me, and I looked across and I was still, sad to say, you know, pretty kind of standard English response of, oh, hello, like this. I've changed a bit now, but quite a lot actually. But anyway, I was, and then he just carried on chatting. He said, in his American accent, of course, are you okay? He may have said it a bit different, like, but that's how it came across to me. You all right, ma'am? You all right? And I said, yeah, I'm fine, thank you. And so he just like carried on driving. And then this happened again. I think it happened again about twice more. And I really was just fine. There wasn't, you know, I didn't have anything to worry about, didn't need any help, just walking along back to my house. And so I think it happened twice more, and then I was just really puzzled. And then I think the last time it happened, this man or woman, they said, oh, do you want to ride anywhere? But anyway, the end of this little bit of story was that later on, I think either my hubby or somebody around us explained to me that usually speaking, if Americans see like a pregnant lady walking along with shopping bags and it's hot, they might think that she's in need of a ride. They might think that she's in need of help. You know, has she got a car, you know? Because people, even literally to this day, you do not see many Americans walking around. It might be different in different pockets of the States. You know, let me know if you live in, say, more northern states where it's cooler maybe. And, you know, that might be a bit different where, you know, maybe Virginia or somewhere like that. Is Virginia kind of north? Michigan. I have a friend in Michigan now. Let me know, do people walk around more up there? Because it might be more normal. But in Florida and the southern states there, you don't get that so much. And it's understandable, it's so hot. So what crazy person would go out pregnant, walking with shopping in the blazing heat? Only a mad girl from England would do that. So anyway, that was that little mystery solved there, but that's not the end of the story. So when I got home, I can't remember how much time later it was, but my hubby came home from work. And that's right, I think I had not yet, either he was at home or he got home soon, because I can't imagine waiting around to pour that milk on my cereal. So he must have just got home pretty quick. And so I got this milk out of the fridge and proudly told my hubby that I'd managed to find a little shop and I got this milk, and it just saved us having to go to a big store somewhere. And I went to pour it, opened it up and poured it into my bowl. Still everything was pretty normal. You know, this was like white and liquidy, so didn't have any reason to think anything else. So started to eat, and it was just really sour. I mean, I thought, what? This is supposed to be fresh milk. I mean, it was awful. So I had another bite. And then I thought, oh, well, maybe my taste buds are super sensitive at the moment. So my husband looked at the carton, because I was going bleh, like this, and he just burst out totally laughing. Oh dear. So you can see my husband has some interesting experience being married to an English girl over there. So he just laughed quite a bit before he managed to explain to me that I had bought some buttermilk instead of milk. But the strange thing was that I didn't see it on there. It was on there, and I suppose I have to take responsibility for my own mistake, that I should have just checked it out better. But I'm not used to buying buttermilk. In England, we do have it occasionally in the shops. Very occasionally you might see like small tiny little cartons of buttermilk, because it's just not used very much over here. But of course in the States, especially in where they do lots of biscuits and gravy, you can go and buy these huge things of buttermilk, which for me, if you don't look at it properly, it just looks like a normal carton of milk to me. So here we were, like, I was so happy that I managed to find this milk, and I can't remember whether we ever went out after that. Oh, it was one of those things in my story over there that I will never forget. That it was just such a dumb thing, really, but you can understand it. And around this same time, I was actually asking, when my hubby went to work, I would say to him, well, what do you like for dinner? I'll get it ready before you come home. And so he said, he thought about it for a minute, and he said, I think I'd like spaghetti, please. Well, for all my American friends over there, well, Steph, what's funny about that? Just spaghetti, okay? Well, for me, spaghetti it's not a thing. It's not a meal. Over here, if someone says spaghetti, it just means spaghetti. It just means the actual pasta. It's not a meal. You know, like we don't generally say, oh, hey, I'd like to invite you around for spaghetti tonight. You know, it's just not something we would say. It's more like we would say spaghetti bolognese or Italian mince or something like that. But it just wouldn't be spaghetti. And so he had asked me for this. So of course off he went to work, and then I proudly kind of showed him when he got home. And he just went in the kitchen, and I really didn't know. I know this is naive, and maybe someone will groan thinking, oh, she should have known better. She's a grown woman. Yeah, but I didn't. So he looked in the kitchen and he saw one pot of cooked spaghetti. That was it. Nothing else. So he just, I think he smiled at me and said, thank you. Something like that. He said, oh, you know, and then he must have said something like, where's the rest of it? Because, you know, for him, it was just like part of the meal. So these are funny moments that I treasure in my heart, in my memories of my new life, of course, across the pond. And it's just an ongoing process when I was there. So I hope you've enjoyed my little mini storytelling series so far. I aim to share with you lots more as they come to my mind. So I'll say cheerio for now. Bye.